get women off the treadmill and under the bar?
I don't know. They come in here. They already come in here off the treadmill and under the bar. So I don't know. I think they have to have friends that lift weights like you, that aren't big nasty steroid-looking creatures like they see on the store. I'll tell you what the problem is the Weeder organization printed all those magazines with Kim Chezhevsky on the fucking front cover. And then we got to have this big conversation with our girlfriends about, no, honey, you're not going to look like this. You're not going to look like you play for the NFL if you, that girl's taking steroids. If you don't take steroids, you'll be okay, right? You don't want to have that conversation. And it's the pictures and the muscle magazines is what did it. I think they've pretty much moderated that. Hell, I go to shop at Walmart. Walmart doesn't have the muscle magazines at the cash register like all the grocery stores used to have. 15, 20 years ago, you had to have this conversation because these girls would see these big roided out bodybuilder chicks. Well,
on Instagram.
do what?
Now I see them on Instagram.
Oh, they do on Instagram.
I've never seen one in a Walmart, though.
Yeah.
No, they don't have.
Big, but they're not roided out.
No, they're not. They're not. No, I'm talking about the magazines, not the shoppers.
It's confusing.
Not the shoppers. No. You were just taking the opportunity to say something funny, is what you were doing. So I don't know. They, the IFBB. Anybody that reacts badly to that comment is just, look. Why do you think the IFBB discontinued women's bodybuilding competition? They don't sanction that anymore because it was completely out of control.
Freak show.
It was a fucking freak show. And nobody would pay to go see the damn things, and nobody wanted to sponsor them because it was a freak show. So they pared that back. What are the three things they do now? Physique, fitness, and bikini. Figure, physique, fitness. Who knows? I don't have any idea. I don't have any idea. So whatever they're doing now, the what?
The bikini part's awesome.
What's the difference between bikini and figure? I think it's just this group takes testosterone and Anavar. These girls only take Anavar.
Right.
The bikini girls don't lift.
They need to be soft. They're 20. So. Now the figure girls lift a little bit.
A little bit.
The physique or the bodybuilder.
So it's just a matter of degree now. So physique has replaced bodybuilding.
Yes.
And now the physiquers look like bodybuilders, so they're going to discontinue that next.
And then we'll just it'll all be bikini.
It'll all be bikini. Why don't they have porn competition?
Not exactly where I was going with this conversation.
Yeah, things tend to get away from us in here.
Next question.
So let's get back to Soleg's question. The answer to that is that you can't make people act like you want them to act. Just as a general rule. This applies to your parents, especially. It applies to your spouse, most especially. Do not try to coach your girlfriend. Don't coach your wife. Don't do that unless you want a divorce. Don't do it. Just don't do it. It doesn't work. You can't tell your parents what to do. You're their kid. You still don't know a goddamn thing, right? Don't try to talk them into it. Now, if they want some help, give it to them. Sure, obviously. But you can't talk people into doing this. This is hard. People don't do things that are hard just because somebody tells them to, right? Hell, diabetics won't even take their insulin. I mean, people just don't do what they're supposed to do. So don't think that you can make them.
That's a good point.
It's just there are limitations in terms of what, and we get asked this question every single seminar. What do I do if my mother and dad need to lift weights real desperately and they won't do it? And what the answer is you just leave them alone. Leave them alone. Let them die. They're going to die anyway. Let them die. I know we can't stand to see it happen, but I mean, there's all kind of shit you can't stand to see happen that goes on all the time. You just got to just eat it, you know. You don't have the power to make people act like you want them to act.
Seems
Like meth should not be illegal. Oh, no. Meth should be given to those people free so that they'll die. Hurry up and die. But I don't have the moral authority or the right to tell you you can't do meth and die. You can die. Take meth. Take all the meth you want. Die. Hurry. Get out of the way. But it's not my business. It's none of my business. Right? I mean, it's the same kind of argument. You know, we just don't have the capacity to make people act like we want them to act. So, I don't know. You just have to serve as the best example you can.
That's what I was going to say. I think people might change if they're inspired by their peers who
That's
done
usually
something like this and it has helped their lives and changed it.
well, every gym like this in the country gets members by word of mouth. That's how you get members. It's not advertising. Advertising doesn't work for this. Does not work. That's a giant waste of operating capital for a gym is to advertise. You get people that come in because they know somebody is training here. That's why they come in. And that's the only thing that works.
Programming, you know, I know you preach 3 sets by 5 is the big, you know, the rep scheme is the best scheme for the
Right.
strength. So
Well, for squats and presses.
okay, maybe
And
one
benches.
by 5 for deadlift.
Yeah, 1 set of 5
So
for deadlift.
I'm doing 3 by 5 with squat today. I did 2 1/4, and I move up 5-pound increments eventually, of course. And I've done
Right.
this multiple times. As I just hit the ceiling, or I'll get to the heaviest weight and then go back. I don't know, a week later, and then there's no way I can do it. You know, you just hit the wall, plateau in the programming. Now I know you've written about this in some places, probably, but where do I go from there? Let's say today is, you know, I hit the wall at 235 next week. I just can't. Do I back up a little bit? Do sets of 10, maybe a couple sets of 10, 20%?
No,
less, or
you
do-
never do 10s. Why would you do lighter weights to think that would make you stronger?
I guess
Lighter weights
the
don't
only thing I
make you
can think of, I'm not arguing, is your body gets adapted more to slightly.
What?
Well, I guess maybe 10 reps of, say, 215. So my body slowly starts to get stronger, and it prepares me then to go higher.
How's 215 going to make you stronger for 235?
I don't know. Maybe the higher reps. More reps.
Why do higher reps at lighter weights make you stronger than heavier weights at lower reps? What is strength, Troy? What is strength? The production of force against an external resistance. Is 235 a higher external resistance, or is 215?
235.
There's just not a lot of point in that, especially for somebody that's not up in the 400s.
That I'm not.
So the first thing you do when you get stuck is you review the first 3 questions. Have you read that article? The first 3 questions. It's called The First 3 Questions.
Okay.
All right? Read the article. Question number 1.
Right.
How long are you waiting between your sets? How long is your rest between your sets? Question number 2, how much are you eating? No, I'm sorry. Question number 2 is, how big of jumps are you taking? You try to take 10-pound jumps on your squat? That doesn't work. All right? You try to take 5-pound jumps on your bench press and your press. Doesn't work. And question number 3 is how much you're eating and how much rest are you getting. Sleeping enough. You're trying to get 2,800 calories a day. You try to train on 2,800 calories a day and 6 hours of sleep, you can't do it. Especially if you're older than, 22. When you're young, you can get away with all kinds of stupid shit. But the older you get, the less forgiving the universe is of stupid shit. Okay? 2,800 calories doesn't work. So if you read the first 3 questions, and then I think probably lurking in those 3 questions is the answer to the situation here. That's the answer to the deal, is the first 3 questions, right? And if you need to get more complicated in your programming, there's a whole book full of that shit called Practical Programming for Strength Training, volume, or 3rd edition. That's the one you need to do, okay? But I think you need to back up and look at the first 3 questions. Usually, how much you squatted today? 2 1/4? See, you're not stuck. You're doing something wrong. Okay?
Out of all the outside media you've done, what's had the biggest impact on the popularity of Starting Strength?
The biggest impact was Dan Duane's op-ed piece that the New York Times picked up about 4 years ago.
It's hanging over there on your wall.
Yeah. That took the book to number 23 on Amazon, all titles. Sometimes those things just fall in your lap, but we could not manufacture it. We could not reproduce that effect ourselves. It's just, look, we're narrow casting, as I've said recently. We're talking to a little narrow group of the population that's intelligent enough to appreciate this type of analysis, and that is appealed to by the logic of this program. But remember, most people cannot explain why, if the greatest lifter in the world does something a certain way, that's not necessarily the way to do it. Most people don't understand that. And it's extremely, that's a hard case to make to people that don't appreciate the subtleties of that logic chain. It's just not, you're limited. Hey, why would we want to do this low bar squat shit for Olympic weightlifting? The greatest lifters in the world don't do that. What do you know that they don't know? What do you tell them? You know?
See pictures of Arnold Schwarzenegger squatting. He's got the bar, way up on his neck.
Well, Arnold didn't squat that way. Look at Arnold. You know, it's a tough sell, isn't it? You know, so it's an odd thing. It's an odd thing. It's a tough problem we've got. You know, there's not any other program besides this one that makes everybody that does it stronger. Nobody else's program does it. And ours it always works because it has to. It's based on biology and arithmetic. But I don't know what the hell to do to get it more popular. You know, we're making progress all the time. Little steps here and there, but I don't expect this is ever going to replace Army physical fitness, sit-ups, push-ups, and running, you know. That's always worked so well.